Geeky Saiyan Army, it's Kanan.
It's Jesse.
And we are the Geeky Saiyan couple, and welcome to our overview analysis of RWBY, Volume 7, Chapter 13, the finale. This will be our last analysis until Volume 8. Now, if you're wondering what's going to go on with the channel during hiatus time, it's kind of already taking place. Like, I'm mostly focusing on my Let's Play series. Please go watch those. This has been a dream of mine for 5 years. If I had known somebody had editing experience, it would have happened a long time ago. But yeah, I've always wanted to be a Let's Player. Watching Let's Plays began in 2015 after my dad passed away. It's one of the things that got me through the grief. That, video games, and her. So if I had known she had editing abilities, we would have started this channel right when she moved. But yes, go watch those. She's got some stuff planned. We've also got our con vlog that we need to get up soon.
There's just a lot of videos to go through.
Yeah. And as far as RWBY content goes, we will be doing more content for RWBY during the hiatus. To begin with, we're going to do the 2 Bumblebee videos that we promised. We might do a video discussing some of the backlash shipping has caused this last volume. That's iffy. And of course, once news for Volume 8 starts to happen, excuse me, we will be covering that. Of course, when RTX comes around, we will be keeping up with the news for Volume 8 as we go on. So we will be planning the Bumblebee video soon. But for a little bit, we're going to take a little semi-break from RWBY. That way we can plan the videos to make sure they're really good. They'll mostly be just like this, just us talking to you guys about it. We will have some slides and stuff like that for one of them. The other one is kind of going to be like a story time video, where we discuss the personal reasons why we ship Bumblebee so strongly. Anyway, enough of that. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, check out for all the other links in the description, our Twitter, our Patreon, our Etsy store, our Square store, and all that good stuff. So now, let's get to the analyzing. Alrighty, so the finale begins with Neo versus the rest of Team Juniper and Oscar. I really didn't expect them to start with this. To tell you the truth, it's been a day and I already forgot that it was this. She pulled it up. I was like, is that how it began? That just shows you that a lot happened, and a lot of processing. So I forget which one it is. I think it's John that says we've got you outnumbered, and we learn very quickly that doesn't matter when it comes to Neo. Because she ain't scared. Oh, she's so lovely. She really is. There's a reason why she's my favorite female villain. Nora's just like,
all right then.
Yeah, all right then. Let's get this going. And so, the first to fire. And really, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say no contest, but really no brainer. Neo kind of owns them in a way. She takes, like, to give Oscar credit, he is weakened, but I don't really know how much Oscar would be able to do at this moment, especially against someone like Neo. But yeah, she's just throwing them all over the place, like, easily, just like, and she's nonchalant.
Deflecting everything.
Yeah, she's deflecting. She's nonchalant the whole time. I don't think there's one part in this fight where Neo is really worried.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, she's typical Neo. And, like, my gosh, this girl, she's like, I know she's a villain, but I can't hate her at all. Like, yeah, she leaves everyone sitting around. Oscar tries his best.
And catches the lamp before she grabs it again.
Yeah. That's like the only thing that Neo gets bested in a little bit in this fight is Oscar does manage to stay a little bit ahead of her and getting the relic. And then John jumps in and kind of yeets her back.
And that was the first one I didn't expect it, and then that leads to the next one.
And I made a comment how John is protecting pretty much his little brother at this point. And yeah, this is the one time
you brought up the whole smash it with a hammer.
Yeah, she pretty much baseballs her. And, well, no, she doesn't baseball her.
They try to go after her.
I thought maybe she's the one that catapulted Ren up, maybe, but I don't know. But they do.
And then she's obviously that was something she was a little surprised because you know.
Yeah, Oscar
just grabs her and pins her in one place.
Yeah, but
her little trick.
Yeah, her little trick where she pretty much just shatters into glass.
So when Ren goes, what?
Yeah. So poor Oscar, he is worn out. He is obvious. We do not know what happened when Neo came. We still have no idea who she was disguised as.
Which I think in 8 we'll find that out.
Maybe, yeah, we probably will.
Because
find out
they're gonna, everyone else is gonna ask, okay, well, what happened? Where did this start?
Yeah, she definitely roughed him up a little bit, and then we finally move over to Cinder, Penny, and Winter. Which it starts off with Cinder and Penny going head to head, and then all of a sudden, this gust of wind or whatever comes through, and all these icebergs come flying through, which of course it's Winter. And really, I think this is the first time we've seen Winter fight since her fight with Crow in Volume 3. So it's really refreshing to finally see her fight again.
And we also, when I get to it, her weapon actually does something. So.
Oh yeah,
it separates.
Yeah, but didn't she show that in Volume 3?
I don't really remember. It wasn't in detail how it separated. So you can actually see it.
Now, here's a thing though. Cinder talks about how the Shnees are so high class and all that, and she says it just makes the rest of us hungrier. And that one's a little messed up. That one's glitched a little bit.
Yeah, it saved funny.
Looks like more than one did.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. She's got a hidden lever underneath, and it actually separates it out of the center in 2 pieces.
I could have sworn she used that in Volume 3, but then again, it's been a while since I've watched
It's
Volume
been
3.
a long time, and I didn't remember, but you can obviously see it's cut out. It completely separates into 2 pieces.
But anyway, the whole point of Cinder's whole spiel about she refuses to starve really seemed like it's the symbolism of her being Cinderella, pretty much. Being a warped version of Cinderella who did not get away from the stepmothers and from the stepdaughters and the stepmother, and it's almost like she's relating the Shnees to being the so-called stepmother and stepdaughters. So really, I really thought Penny and Cinder would do a little bit better. It's late. Penny and Winter, and they do a pretty good job of holding Cinder off, but she still bests them in a lot of ways. And then, I love this. I do love the relationship they started building with Penny and Winter, which kind of makes things later in the episode a bit heartbreaking. Now, this stuff was cool. Them flying through the air and all that. This kind of reminded me in a lot of ways, at some points, of the Cinder and Raven fight in Volume 5. And, I loved that fight just because of how action-packed it was. So, have we ever seen... We did see Cinder do this in Volume 5, right? Her using the fire to move. And, Penny is pretty much pure Iron Man in this fight. With how she flies around. And she says, I have come too far to be stopped by some toy. And it's kind of funny because...
Yeah, it's the relation to what they're based off of is...
Yeah. Also, plus what happens later in the episode.
Yeah.
Now, this was cool. I said that, this pretty much makes her look like some kind of Valkyrie from Norse mythology. This was so, so cool. Sadly, it doesn't last very long. This was cool. just actually really good teamwork between Penny and Winter. Something you never thought you would see, really. Um, but of course, Cinder does gain the upper hand. She pretty much gets rid of Winter's summons, and her aura breaks. And this is where a lot of people thought Winter was going to die in this episode. And this is where I thought maybe this could possibly happen, because anytime it's gotten serious in the show like this and an aura breaks, the character dies. We learned that in chapter 12 and in past chapters. So yeah, this was, and like Winter is going to fall to her death, but Penny saves her. And she says, what are you doing? My life doesn't matter. Which Penny says, I disagree. And this is more of showing that Penny is more than just a robot. Like, it's like this whole volume and a lot of the story and a lot of the, volume 2 and volume 3, what we saw of Penny, is pretty much her slowly becoming, in quotation marks, a real girl. Because she is based off Pinocchio. Because really, you look at it, in volumes 2 and 3, she still had those strings attached. Then, of course, in this, it's like those strings are coming apart. The song from Pinocchio, I've got no strings to hold me down. And,
she really started realizing things after the talk with RWBY.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where things really started changing.
And then the talk with Winter she had at Schnee Manor.
Yes, then that, and it was just...
It's been peppered throughout the whole entire volume. Which I like, because, Penny really needed a big, when I say glow up, I don't mean in terms of looks, but, as far as relevancy and where she is going to be in the story. Since they brought her back, they really needed to show that, and her just not be a background character, kind of like how she was when she was first introduced.
Yeah, I know I've seen few things floating around here and there on various social media sites that they shouldn't even have brought her back. Well, the thing is it was... Cinder even says it, in the last episode. It was temporary.
Yeah. Do you not know the story of Pinocchio, people?
Pinocchio doesn't die. I know the characters aren't completely 100% based off of these stories, but they're inspired by them heavily in ways. So,
though they're really pushing it by the end of this episode.
Yes, but the thing is like I said, I was really happy to see Penny come back, and I know much of the fandom was too. And she needed this to separate her from how the robotic that she used to be. It goes with the story of Pinocchio.
And come on. People, use your common sense. She's a robot. There was always a chance she could come back. That's common sense. So we get back to Jean, Nora, and Ren, and poor Oscar. He can't keep up. He's so tired he cannot keep up with them, trying to find Neo. And poor Oscar gets separated from them because, like I said, he's tired. He just can't keep up. I really felt sorry for Oscar, the fact that they pretty much left him, and he gets pulled back so the soldiers don't see him by who you are supposed to think is Nora, but the way she walks off screen, it's like, oh, that's Neo. And it is. And God, it was kind of creepy how they shot this whole thing.
Because he, matrixed himself backwards into the ground.
And the way they made, the reveal of Neo's eyes under the guise of Nora.
And you realize also, she can't duplicate weapons.
Yeah, we do learn that, she cannot duplicate weapons. Even though she's fighting as Nora, she's still using her parasol. But she also has the lamp, which is not good. Oh, I like this. I like that shot. So the others do show up, and they try to fight.
John was quite shocked, but he saw the eyes.
Yeah. Poor, good old John. He's gotten smarter. Now here...
At this, she changes it. Because you can kind of see here, her eyes were the same when you first see that. She changed it and did it on purpose.
This is where she takes advantage of Ren, and it's kind of heartbreaking in a way. He goes to attack her, But she quickly, and we all know from Volume 3, I believe it was, that when she's changed, yes, Neo can change the eye color. She quickly changes her eye color back to Nora's actual eyes and, gets this worried, like scared look, and Ren hesitates. And he falls to the ground.
And then sits up, and she's...
Now, in the actual episode, when he sets up, it is kind of comical.
It is, and then...
But if you really know the context of it, he's deeply bothered by this because it made him feel like he almost attacked Nora, which really it wasn't. But it's psychological.
Yes,
that's the thing that Neo does well.
Something that Team Juniper doesn't understand, though, because they've never had a real run-in with Neo before. They don't know what she can do.
Yeah.
No one really fully knows what she can do.
Yeah.
So that's what plays into this the psychological shock of this, and he's just like, thing is if he would have noticed she wasn't using a hammer, it probably would have clicked a little more. But the fact that she changed her eyes and gave him that look, everything else in his mind was suddenly gone. Like, what's going on?
Ren's been shown this volume to be really wrestling with his feelings for Nora, so that probably
he doesn't want it to... No, it's not helping. And from what we've seen, he doesn't... He obviously wants it, but he doesn't want things to... How can I word this?
I'm going to go ahead.
Collide things? No, that's not the right word. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keeping things separate. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure RWBY can go a different way, but I just have a feeling Team Juniper is going to repeat itself in how Jean and Pyrrha were a tragic love story. I have a feeling if they keep this up, they're going to do the same thing with Ren and Nora. I love Renora, but things aren't looking good for them storytelling-wise. So they get back to running after Neo, and Nora looks back at Ren, and Ren has tears running down his face, which is like, it was very heartbreaking when you realized it, because he thinks he almost attacked Nora, and that's a way to show that how much Nora really means to him. Because Ren has always been that character who, he said earlier in the volume, he's never been good with talking. He hides his emotions about certain things. This whole volume he's been scared to openly care about Nora because he's scared of something happening to her, maybe if something happens to him, and that's why, in chapter 6, Nora compared Blake and Yang to them because she wants what Blake and Yang has. Blake and Yang are being very open with how they feel about each other, even though they're not in a relationship yet. And this is a telling way to show that, yes, he does deeply care about Nora, but this is also going to drive the fear of something eventually either happening to her and him that's going to drive him further away. And that's kind of teased later in this episode.
And, for me, personally, though, I see it too, so I do see all the signs, I do see things happening, but personally, for me, thinking, yeah, this is happening, they honestly do, they don't have a break, though, but the two of them need to talk, and he knows it. And the thing is things are just going one after another. His fears are just going to get worse,
But I think...
what if they can't talk? And what if something happens and they never get to talk?
Yeah.
I know that's probably one little thing in his mind among everything else. So,
And, I think besides Volume 4, where, we learned his whole backstory, and it was really the first volume where we really saw Ren show a lot of emotion. This is the most, emotional he's been in a while. So, yeah, it was really heartbreaking to see that. And
she's at it again.
Yep,
and then
she
gets it and takes off with it.
Yeah, Neo does get away with the lamp. So we go back, and Cinder, of course, is at her usual ways of trying to steal the Maiden's power. I still wondered, could she even handle that, all that power inside of her? It makes me wonder, where they're going to go with Cinder, because, she's slowly turning into a Grimm, and, even if she is able to get 2 Maiden powers inside of her, could her body even handle that? Would she explode? Would it, we don't know. But I had a feeling Cinder was not going to succeed because, let's face it, in Volume 3, she had everything going for her. She had the element of surprise. She had Emerald and Mercury there because Emerald's symbol is very helpful for how they pulled things off there. They had the Grim attack. They had Adam and the White Fang and all that. Here, she kind of had the element of surprise, but they knew she was there.
Yeah.
Ahead of time. Which she kind of set up herself because she left that chess piece there. So it was kind of dumb.
She wants
of her.
to flaunt that she's there, and
and it
wants them to know it.
And I mean, yes, she done that as a way that she could find out where the maiden was, but it was also kind of dumb of her to announce she's there when she could have just sent Neo in disguise to find where the maiden is. Even though, I guess technically they probably tried that and Neo couldn't figure it out. But she had no backup, really. I mean, yeah, she's got Neo, but Neo was sent to just get the lamp, not to come help her. So she really had no backup this time around. Because Salem's not coming to help her.
Because she abandoned Salem and abandoned everything. This is all her own.
Even though Salem expects her to come back. And she's still following Salem's rules and not to kill Ruby, which is weird.
No, she wants this first before she kills Ruby, because it shows later in this episode, actually here soon, it shows she's worried when she sees Ruby.
Well, she does say in Volume 6 that she's been instructed not to kill Ruby. That's why she's got Neo with her, but
because she wants Neo to do it.
Yeah, but she did not have all the help in the world like she did in Volume 3. No. So that's why I had a feeling she wasn't going to succeed this time around. And the Winter Maiden wakes up. Now, I've already seen people say, why the heck does the Winter Maiden not remember anything? She's old, people. This is a woman on the brink of death. Do you not know how bad the mind goes when you get to that part? I mean, we don't know if it exists in RWBY, but there is a little thing called Alzheimer's disease.
And I personally even know what it's like to be around someone like that. So this is very this is a usual thing. This happens. I mean, it's sad. It is. It's heartbreaking to see somebody go through that. But thing is she's still trying. You can hear her through this. But the comments of people saying, "How does she not remember?" Come on. Have you not had anyone in your family have something like this happen?
Obviously not. So I'm going to break your hearts right now. When you get old, your mind's going to go. So if you've been living in denial all this time and this show brought it to your attention, I feel bad for you. When she said me, I was like, God, you are so full of yourself. This is a cool shot, though. But boom.
She's just like, no.
Yes.
Regardless of, and she even states she may not remember, and then she'll get to that later, but still, she knows.
I was so proud of this because I made a prediction the night before that the Winter Maiden was going to wake up during all this, and she was going to hand Cinder her ass.
Well.
She pretty much did. I also made another prediction earlier that night, and I stuck with one prediction before we watched the episode, and I'll get to that later.
I had some from the previous thing, but one of them was a long shot, and we'll get to that, and I almost cried seeing it, so it's...
Now, right here, we see the usual flames. Now, at this point in time, I thought they were blue, of course, because she's the Winter Maiden, but we learned something very interesting later in the episode about the eyes and the flames that come out of the maiden's eyes. And so this was beautiful. This was so amazing to see. So, not only is she the maiden, and she has the powers that pretty much contradict Cinder's powers, because Cinder uses fire. Fire's not going to do anything against this.
Oh, no.
But with something
and
Winter...
it shows it, too.
Yeah, and something that Winter says later, we find out that Cinder's not as powerful as she could be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she touches it and she pulls it away, her hand away.
It's too cold. If you've ever been around something that is too cold, it literally burns you.
Yeah, you can't touch it.
And this was a beautiful shot. Her power just explodes episodes out of it. Now, did you get the shot of Winter saying it? Yes. This is the power of a fully realized maiden. This is a maiden who has lived her whole life. She's near the end of it. She has fully,
protected that power. And
yes, but she's also mastered it in a way. This is kind of some Dragon Ball Z kind of stuff right here. But this shows that Cinder is not as strong as she could be.
She's relying on anger.
Yes, she could.
Selfish want, I guess you can say.
Yeah, she could be so much stronger. And like I said in the previous video, I think maidens are not invincible. They can be defeated. Because we saw Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury take out Amber, who was a maiden. Maybe not a fully realized one, but if they're still haven't fully realized their power yet, they can still be beaten. I don't know if Freya could be beaten at this point, because she could just freeze you to death. But it makes me wonder how strong Raven is. I mean, she beat Cinder, so I would guess she's at least a little bit stronger than Cinder.
I think because, the thing is the experience that Raven has, and we don't know how long she's had the power.
Yeah.
That Raven is pretty strong, and she, she could probably, she bested Cinder, but I mean, we don't know if she knows that full power, but she's obviously grown with it.
Yeah. So Winter is desperately trying to get to the so she can take her power, because I mean, and sadly, it's because that's her orders. I mean, we learned
she's still following.
Yeah, but look at this. It's so cold, it burns the fingertips of her gloves off her. Was it already like that, or was it because of the cold?
It was the cold. She touched it, and she said it's too cold.
Yeah, yeah. If ice will literally burn you when it gets to a particular temperature. And Penny, she's a robot.
She looks at her own hands.
Yeah, she's a robot. She does not have the weaknesses that a flesh and blood being does. So she jumps right in. And you get that look from Winter. Okay, so here is where Team Juniper has pretty much accepted defeat. They've lost the lamp. And Ren says this whole, we weren't ready to become huntsmen. I don't really agree, because they fought an enemy that they hadn't, they
didn't know anything about.
Well, they knew Neo, but I don't think they really knew the whole thing of what she can do, which Nora tries to debate that that's not true. Then he says, why aren't they holding the relic? And, oh, you didn't get it. But he legit yells at Nora.
And she looks down, yeah.
And, Jean
puts an end to that.
Well, yeah, he's the team leader.
Well, yeah, but
he's got to.
Yeah, but it was right at this moment. It was just a split second. But she puts her head down after he yells at her, and John he's done.
Yeah.
Puts an end to it.
So once again, they're kind of drawing a rift between Renora, and it is kind of worrying. So here's where you had your little excited moment.
Yes, this was my next excited moment, was because I had said in the last analysis and the episode that I had said, thinking about it, yeah, Iron locked them out
of their
scrolls. Pietro can undo it. Maria's even said it over and over again, the most brilliant mind in Atlas.
Yeah,
which... finest mind in Atlas.
Yeah,
I called this.
Yeah, so that confirms that, yes, Pietro probably hacked through to get their scrolls working. So, yeah, you were right on that one.
Yes, I was like, oh, he can just do it.
So we see that they have got an airship ready to go. And Blake and Yang are fighting off the robot soldiers, which is not hard to do. These things are pretty much like droids.
Tin cans.
They're pretty much like droids in Star Wars. Jedi's cut through them like butter. So yeah, it's pretty much and see, you got him right there.
And he's in. I made sure to get that because he's in there already doing more and more things. So.
Yeah, so he's pretty much making sure all of them is hacked through. So, once again, crazy Maria behind the wheel.
We need to get out of here. Well, at least her eyes are fixed this time.
Yeah, her eyes are fixed this time. And if
something happens, he's there.
And, of course, in the background, Blake and Yang keep making sure they don't get overrun or anything. See, they are doing the great teamwork that they always do. Which she asked them where they're at. And
they say that they're in the training room. They slipped away from some soldiers.
Yeah, which they start getting attacked again, I believe, by soldiers again, right? And Oscar runs off. And he states there's something he has to do alone, which I love this. For years, one of the biggest criticisms RWBY has gotten is they do not give Oscar enough on-screen development. It always happens off-screen. Well, we got a lot of Oscar development, not only this whole volume, but really in this one episode. It was amazing. So here we have Penny standing in the middle of this
ice tornado.
Yeah, that could pretty much melt the skin off your bones. And I started getting excited right here. And like she just walks up, touches her. I think she pulls her down, doesn't she?
No, she just touches her.
Okay.
Asks, are you okay? Just Penny. Just typical, are you okay?
Yeah.
It's just simple as that.
And once again, like she cannot remember really what her role was. See, this makes me think like her mind has slipped to the point where she doesn't realize she's the maiden. She's talking almost like when she was going to take over as the maiden, because she says, you can tell James that I'm ready
before
now.
That she had said, she said I had a job to do. I think then, I don't remember if it was before this or after this, she said, I had to protect the power.
Yeah.
And until it was ready to go on, and then you could tell him I'm ready now. So she knew, but her mind, she admits, she goes, I forget.
I see what you're getting. Like, see, I took it as either, it's that.
But Penny, it's that, but Penny also mentions, if you do that, she goes, she started to say, you will be, and she goes, I know. Mm-hmm. I may forget things, but I remember that.
See, for a while, I thought maybe she was like, her mind was slipping to the point where she was remembering back to when she wasn't the maiden, but was about to, meaning that Winter isn't the only one that Ironwood decided who would become the maiden and doing that. But it seems like she's pretty much saying she's ready to pass away and
pass the power on, and she knew that he was pretty much set up to pass it to somebody, and she knew she had to protect the power. Mm-hmm. But she decided she admitted that I may not remember everything all the time right away, but I remember certain things. So she now a typical grandmother is what this reminded me of. So
the whole entire room is now encased with ice. And I started getting really excited right here.
And she asks her what her name was, and she tells her, and she smiles and says Penny.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Are you the one? And I'm like, no, don't tell me.
And then Penny, she goes, and she looks back to where Winter would be.
Yeah, because she knows it's supposed to be Winter that takes it. And then we go, probably one of the most shocking moments in RWBY. Like, it's pretty shocking what happens here. So, Ironwood, like I said in the last analysis or reaction, I forgot which one it is, where's Ironwood? He's probably locked himself away somewhere, maybe in the vault, and that's where he is.
He's down there waiting for Winter.
Yeah, and he expects it's Winter and that she's gained the power of the maiden. He's pretty much expected her to have pretty much killed Freya to pass the power off. That's what that machine pretty much does.
Yeah.
So, and God, I wished it had. I really do sometimes wish it had been Austin. This would have been such an amazing return for him. But the return is still awesome, so it doesn't matter. So good boy, Oscar. I hated the way Ironwood said this. He says this in almost like a really smug, smart-ass way. I just did not like it. It's still just me. And he says it was smart not to bring the lamp down here. Well,
I wouldn't trust me either.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know that the lamp is now.
And he doesn't tell him. He doesn't hint it, nothing.
Yeah. Says he's hoping to fix that. He is once again trying to talk sense in Ironwood. At every time, Oscar has not given up on Ironwood, which is really like a good thing on Oscar's part, but I just wonder if this has a payoff in the end. And I forgot what Ironwood says, but Oscar said no, that's exactly what she wants. Once again, trying to drive through his thick skull that he's doing exactly what Salem wants him to do. Yeah, he says that holding the cane calms him down when he's afraid. So that's kind of cute.
And he just plays, because he asked him, is he here to fight me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Then he asked, you still think I'm afraid? Well, the thing is, James, you are. You're very afraid.
Well, the thing is like, I don't know if I captured all of them, but...
Oh, and this is great. You know, we all are. It's what we do in our fear that reveals...
And when he was walking, he interrupts him and pretty much says, no, you know, I let my guard down. Yeah. I left it open for her. And he walks around because he said, I was right. No. This is where I want to touch on that. Because if you go back to the beginning of this episode, the last episode, the fight with the Aesops, all the issues, you know, obviously Clover's gone.
Which they still don't know. Yeah,
and them hunting, the fight with Neo, them having to constantly, you know, they're looking for Neo. They were running from the tin can officers following behind them. If Ironwood would just get it through his thick skull and none of this was happening, he's making this worse. This is all his fault. And he says, no, I was right, you know, no, this is happening because I let my guard down. This is happening. So, yeah, let's arrest everybody. Let's put, you know, warrants out, capture on, you know, once you see them. And no, if his little tin can soldiers weren't running around to arrest everybody because they were in his way, this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So this is huge. This is all on his shoulders. Like... Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's like Oscar says, he's wanting to lead, you know, he's not only abandoning Mantle, he's abandoning Remnant to
you know, to communication to the world and help us what we need. And he's, you know...
Yeah, he doesn't listen to any of it.
Oscar says, listen to me. He goes, no, you listen. Yeah. That's all Ironwood does. And he's done that from the beginning, even against Oz.
I mean, look, he even has, like, almost a crazed, wild look in his eyes. Like, he's almost to the point of no return. Now, a lot of people have pointed this out. This is great imagery. RWBY does a good job at this. You've got Oscar in the light, Ironwood stepping from the light into the dark. So...
And something Oscar says kind of fits this. Not this, but... And then this is when he says, I'm done letting, you know, pretty exactly what I said. Letting anyone in his way. Mm-hmm. Thing is sadly, you know, we'll learn also later with something that Winter says. Mm-hmm. Winter's gonna find out the hard way herself, too.
Yeah.
He's just...
Yeah,
He's lost his mind. It's gone. And, I mean... So it's pretty much his heart. Mm-hmm. It's gone.
Yeah, the Tin Man's lost his heart. And Oscar states that he's just as dangerous as Salem. Which, I mean...
he's not wrong. That's an exact point to this.
Yeah. Then he has the nerve to say, James is what my friends call me. And then says...
you call me General.
And he shoots Oscar. To the point where Oscar's aura bursts. And I've already seen on Twitter a lot of people who like Ironwood or were defending him, they're saying he's went complete villain at this point. Because he shot a kid off a platform and
because he's in his way.
Yeah, and pretty much let him fall what would have been his death. Like, because it's just, it's...
And the thing is we'll learn also, the thing is you keep hearing the word, trust is also brought up a lot, but fear. And once we get to Ospin's entire whole...
Ospin says a lot of profound stuff.
Yes, and it all has to do with fear and stuff, and fear is a very nasty thing, and it's controlling him. This is why he's gone insane.
Plus the credits song was called Fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
She bursts through the ice.
Jessica Diggory done an amazing job right here. She done such a good job delivering this, just crazed Cinder. Like this is, I think this is the like I don't know. She kind of lost it during her fight with Raven, but I think this is the
it's adding up. Like,
yeah, this is the most
building.
This is the most unhinged we've seen Cinder in a lot, like ever. And I love this because she goes pretty much to attack Penny, but Winter shows back up and cuts her grim arm off. And did you get it growing back? Well, anyway, if in case we didn't
she's flailing it around right here, so
yeah, and it eventually grows back, which I don't think Grim can do that, but apparently Cinder can. It might be that thing she's got in her that allows her to suck the power out. I think it is,
but it's also it's part of whatever. Pretty much, in other words, Salem built her back up, and gave her what she has, as far as the arm and all that, and she pretty much stole, whatever she did and took off and abandoned Salem. So now she's going to have to pay for that eventually.
This scene is kind of interesting in that Winter sees, Penny pretty much cradling the Winter Maiden. Which, poor Penny, I don't think Penny fully realizes what happens, which Winter does. Winter says no. She knows what could possibly happen for this. And I don't know if she's worried about Penny per se, or worried about failing at her orders.
I'm not sure.
Has. But yeah, the grim arm goes back.
Yeah, I caught at least that. But the only thing I can think of also with Winter saying no is the Winter Maiden's dying. Yeah. And she's going to lose her chance to follow her order.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of that worry.
I don't want to think Winter is that far gone, but we kind of learn later that for a time she may be. And
Penny sees her going and she just holds her hand, but I don't think Penny fully understands what she just did.
Yeah, the Winter Maiden's aura pretty much transfers. We get that little shot and I was like, oh my god, and then we get to Oscar falling. Now, Oscar is pretty much on his way to fall to
and
Mantle.
Then his eyes flicker and then he shakes his head out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts reaching for
the cane. So
poor Winter gets...
Yeah, Winter gets pretty messed up by Cinder, but it gives us one of the most glorious things we have ever seen in RWBY, which we'll see in a minute. So he grabs the cane, and then there's the big reveal. Okay. This was my Jen moment, because in that Twitter post I had made the night before, I had said about the Winter Maiden kicking Cinder's ass, which kind of happened, and then I said one of three things was going to happen. Either Winter was going to get the Winter Maiden powers, so Ironwood's plan for that at least would be fulfilled. Nora would get it because it would turn out we would get all these flashbacks all of a sudden, confirming the Nora granddaughter theory was right. Or Penny would get it, and it would kind of be symbolism for her becoming a real girl with the whole Pinocchio thing. And then right before we filmed our reaction, like right before we started the episode, I stated on camera, I'm sticking with Penny. I am.
And I've had so much going on. I mean, thinking about it, I had stated I agree with that, because that really would be a huge symbolism for the fact, also then, as soon as we started getting more into the episode and seeing the ice, and as soon as she looked at her hands, I'm thinking, wait a minute, she's the only one that could go through it to do something. So,
and here's something that we've learned: the flame that comes out of their eyes, it doesn't have to do with the element; it's their eye color. It
reflects their eye color.
Yeah, because
her color in RWBY.
Yeah, the flames are not white or bluish; they're green. That goes with her eye color. So that was very, very. But yeah, I flipped out on camera. I was so happy with myself. And then we have Weiss and RWBY finally show up, and Cinder's not happy that RWBY is there.
Shocked,
yeah,
because she's not prepared for this. She doesn't have another power to turn around and she's just not prepared for this.
Like I said earlier, she overplayed her hand. She
didn't plan it. She couldn't plan for everything. She she started getting selfish.
Yeah. Then we go to the gears in the cane start grinding and they start to glow. And Oscar starts to glow, which we pretty much knew what this meant. So we get back to this.
Pissed off.
Yeah, she's pissed off. It looks like she is going to attack Winter again, and Weiss, I think that's the reason why Weiss gasps.
But then this, you get this look, and the thing is,
did you get the panic look?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I did.
Okay.
It didn't. But
okay, so this was great. RWBY didn't hesitate.
She didn't flinch. She just stood there and looked at her.
And right before her silver eyes go off, Cinder looks panicked. She's like, "Oh fuck," because she knows what this did to her.
Yeah, I tried to
time.
catch it, but it kept. I couldn't get it enough.
So RWBY silver eyes her, and here's where it was pretty much, yeah, Ozpin's back, because this is the same thing Ozpin used against Cinder in Volume 3. Now,
but we learned something interesting here in a little bit, is that I thought at first it was just straight Ozpin coming back. Well, but then he says something.
Yeah. Now, it's kind of funny. A lot of people have made the parallel of Oscar falling from the sky kind of mirrors what we saw in Volume 6 of Salem falling from the sky after she was given immortality by the gods. So that might be a little connection there. Well, and I mean, no connection that Salem and Oz have. So Cinder
she burned herself out.
Yeah, Cinder got away before RWBY could do any major damage to her.
Which we don't know if she suffered any, but the fact though, this.
Well, we do see her, and it doesn't look like she's hurt.
Yeah, this shows
that Cinder fears RWBY.
Yeah, which. But the thing is
RWBY's probably the only one who can seriously hurt.
Stronger with this, so that tells me that she's really taken to what Maria said. You know, now she can use it at will now, which.
And I mean, the biggest reason why RWBY can use the Silver Eyes against Cinder is because Cinder's becoming a Grimm. And I mean, Cinder knows what RWBY did to her last time. I mean, yeah, they fought at Haven, and Cinder was a little bit more cocky then. But she had backup there.
She no longer has that.
She was cornered here.
Slowly losing her resources.
Yeah.
Which usually that's where your death flags start popping up.
And here we get the glorious image of Winter with her hair down.
The hair needs to stay down.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
I love it.
Yes, please, RWBY.
Keep the hair down.
Keep the hair down.
It.
This looks amazing.
If you want to put it back at all, just put strands back. Leave all of it else down.
Yeah. So Winter is like, you know, what was that? You know?
Yeah.
So Weiss starts to tend to her. Now Ozpin starts talking. Which he says a lot of profound stuff that kind of goes with stuff that has happened in the volume. It's funny it's funny then that as common as fear is, we so easily underestimate its power, which
it's very true.
It's been the common theme of Ironwood this whole entire volume, that his fear is driving him. Here's, you know, RWBY obviously seeing Penny is now the Winter Maiden, and Penny I don't think really understands what's going on.
No, she went to go and check, you know, the Winter Maiden, and she said, you know, she's
sad that she's passed away.
Yeah, which also that shows another thing, that Penny's the real girl thing. Like she's the Winter Maiden's gone, and she didn't want that to happen. She knew it was going to, but it's affecting her.
And Winter says she's a part of you now, and the way she says it, you know, Winter says it in a very defeated manner because she failed. She failed what was supposed to be her duty. This is heartbreaking because what is said right when it gets to this. Fear of growing close to someone. What has always been something Crow has tried to avoid doing.
Getting close to at least anybody new, I guess.
Well, I mean, he even separates himself from his family because he doesn't want them to get hurt because of his symbols.
Like he has a closeness with them, but he keeps that line. Like, so this.
Yeah, this was
very heartbreaking. And it gets even better for another part that I called. So.
Yeah. So this is interesting. We see Robin is okay. She's woken up. And the soldiers come out here, but there's something later that happens. Hopefully you got it. That I'm questioning why. See, I was kind of amazed that she can.
She's holding that Grimm arm, so she's obviously hurt, at least in some sense.
Yeah, so she might have got hurt a little bit. Fear of failure Boom. Once again,
she failed.
Cinder has failed, like twice in a row now. So,
and it's just making her more mad.
Did you get the... Okay, now, she screams, and fire comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
That's something we've not seen before.
Her anger is driving her, and we've seen it with other characters, even Yang. I mean, when you let anger control ahead of you and you control your actions, you start failing more. Yeah. Because you're relying on your anger just to drive you. And she's pretty much, Yang grew up from that. She's growing into it. So. Yeah.
Now, I think we saved this because there was a big misconception. Even I didn't catch this. That Blake had no spoken line throughout this whole entire episode. Well, here it is. Blake does say "come on" to Juniper.
It's very, very hard to hear. And because Osmond's talking, the music is playing, and she's singing and all that, so you can't really hear it. But the subtitles caught it, so it was the only line.
Blake has one spoken line in the finale.
There's another thing that happens throughout this whole thing that you can't hear that shows up as subtitles. So.
And we
our
last soft bees moment before the finale. Like, I think there was not a single episode this volume where they didn't look at each other like this. Like, because I want to talk a little bit about the Bumblebee fandom's reaction to the end of Volume 7 a little bit. So, we've got people now fussing that Blake and Yang didn't kiss by the end of this volume. For any of you watching who follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm probably one of the biggest Bumblebee shippers out there. Like, that's what I based my Twitter on when I first started. It was just a Bumblebee fan account.
I'm pretty up there just as much. In our personal video, we'll go into this, but I mean, I may not post as much. I'm the one that's making the cosplays and stuff, so.
Yeah. So yeah, there are people up. People already saying that there's people using Crow and Clover to drag Bumblebee down, saying, oh, they're going to queer bait us with this, or people thinking they're going to drag it out so far to the point where they get to Vacuo. I've literally seen a post about someone saying that they're going to get to Vacuo and they're going to push Blake back to Sun and act like the stuff with her and Yang never happened.
I don't know. I don't know. No.
I can't say much because I'm not part of the LGBT community, but don't let the paranoia of queer baiting keep you from seeing the narrative that they're telling. Maybe you could say more of that than I could, but
it's not queer baiting. Like, from
Crow and Clover for my opinion was not queer baiting, because
again, we loved that ship.
Yeah.
It was in our top ships.
Yeah.
So
it was like
we're going to keep stating that.
It was like number 3 or 2.
Yes, and it that's why, if you've watched the reaction yet for us, it killed me. Okay. Yeah. Like it really did. But
go watch our top 8 ships video. I will state in that video that yes, I love this ship. If that is where they go for it, I'm all for it. But it could easily just be a friendship to develop Crow's character. And look what happened. We saw parts of Crow's character this volume that we've never seen before.
Which is probably the Crow that was part of Team Stark.
Yeah.
This is probably that Crow.
The ships that they push in the actual show take years to develop. Arcos took 3. Renora took 4 before they became mutual, and then took another 3 before they actually kissed. Blake and Yang have been built up since around Volume 1 and 2, and their feelings became officially confirmed mutual in Volume 6. So we've got a little bit to go before they finally...
This isn't a fairy tale where you look at somebody and all of a sudden you're in love. Sorry, yes. That doesn't happen. So...
Like they said in the Volume 6 commentary, you can't rush true love.
You can't. And
if Crow and Clover were meant to have been a thing, Clover wouldn't have been killed off this volume. He would have continued.
No.
They would have built it up.
No. And another thing with this, again, it's not queer baiting. They're not going to go to Vacuo and push her to Sun. I'm sorry. as somebody who, is part of this community, no, yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not
RWBY knows better than that.
Yes, if they did, okay, if they were to if somehow that turned around and happened, that is queer baiting.
Yeah.
That would be. They're not going to do that. There's too much. They're not even trying to hide it anymore, guys. Like,
no.
Come on. It's it's there. It's going to keep building.
They're not hiding it to the point they're using Bumblebee to promote RTX. Yesterday, when we pulled up the website to watch the finale, they had a banner at top promoting RTX that badges were on sale. It was yellow, the text was black, and only Blake and Yang were on the banner.
I'll get my posts, the sponsored post on Instagram I see. There's frequently a lot of Blake and Yang, and it's in those colors. I'll get it on Facebook. I've gotten it on the other various social medias. Hell, I've been getting ads on when I check Etsy or Square, and it'll show up a little ad, and it'll be that. So they're not. They're subtle, but they're not. Like, they're not hiding anymore.
I wouldn't even say it's subtle anymore.
It started subtle. Thing is, yeah, we got so many B moments. We
got stuff that I didn't think we'd ever get.
Yes, and we'll cover that in another video. But my last point on this is.
Well, I want to go over it real fast because it leads to a point I have about this volume.
They've thrown in even just a look if they've got a chance, and it's meant that way. Even though, yeah, they took a back seat a little bit because look at what happened in 6.
Yeah, 6 was mostly their volume.
And as for the kiss, yeah, we all would have loved to see it, but
it wouldn't be the right time.
No, it's not. And Renora got their kiss, and as soon as I saw that, I knew we're not getting our kiss.
Yeah,
and
we wouldn't have gotten 2 kisses.
We needed the Renora kiss first.
Yeah,
because that's been longer.
Yeah.
Yes, they're still in trouble, but to me, in my heart personally, there's got to be something that'll fix it because they don't have the communication they need. Communication is a huge thing in a relationship. Personally, we know that communication is absolutely everything. Whole thing, trust, love. Okay, it connects.
And Blake and Yang, they have great communication. They've
gotten to that point again.
Yeah, they've got great communication just by looking at each other.
And Ren and Nora don't understand that yet. They need to communicate. They need, Ren needs Nora to understand things. And so that's the thing. I don't see them tearing completely Renora apart. I really don't. But they're driving home to the point that they're showing the communication isn't there. They need to communicate. Mm-hmm. Regardless if he can't. They need to.
And, going back to the things for this volume, okay, we got Blake having a yellow strip on Gamble. We had Yang getting caught looking at Blake's new haircut, and Yang having a
gay panic.
A gay panic over
Sorry,
it.
there's no other word for that. It was straight gay panic.
Blake blushing because of it, and even while she was blushing, she gave Yang a flirty look. Then you have, we have not had one single episode, I don't think, this volume, where they haven't looked at each other. There was the small little talk they had in the truck. There was them, where they decided to go against Ironwood together.
The looks in the mirror, the
makeup, the looks in the mirror. They went on a freaking date, okay? Blake and Yang went on a dance club date. I don't care if Team Funky was there.
That wasn't her point of going.
Yes. Yang even said she finds Team Funky annoying, and the best thing about dance clubs is she wouldn't have to point up with him. She went so she could dance with Blake.
And there's
people, yes, and there's people who saying, "Oh, well, we didn't see it, so it doesn't count." Bullshit. It still happened within the show. It happened, okay? And then you have Nora pretty much confirming that Blake and Yang have romantic feelings for each other.
While comparing and talking about them, that she wants that.
Yes, if Nora was only talking about her and Ren, there would have been no point in bringing up Blake and Yang in that conversation. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, the point is, it's still way too early in their relationship. They're still building it. Monty said, when asked about if there would be LGBT characters in RWBY, he said, sure, but they can't just shove it out there. It has to be earned, which is the best way to do it. They are still honoring what Monty wanted for that by giving Blake and Yang time to develop their relationship. It could happen in 8, it could happen in 9, but I do think by the time they go to Vacuo, Bumblebee will be in a relationship. That's my final word on it. But this is great in that, going back real fast to them just being able to communicate by looks.
Okay, we do that, guys.
Well, also, the point is, they look at each other, and Yang kind of gives Blake this look like, I'll handle this. Because Yang, having had raised Ruby and all that, she knows how to be comforting in a way. And she asks them, she gets down to eye level with them and asks them what happened. Which we don't hear them explain what happened, but
That's what I'm thinking, that we'll hear more.
Well, I mean, it's obvious they say. And as more people depend on you, those fears can take on greater power, which speaks a lot.
Here's my next moment.
Yeah.
In the last episode, and even in the analysis, I stated, I thought maybe it would have been a long shot, but I said, when they focused on his pin falling to the ground, I said that I really want Crow to pick that pin up and take it with him. It would be like, and I stated this has nothing to do with romantic anything, nothing. The symbolism for having someone, even as a close friend, somebody that he was getting close to, either way it went, it would have been huge symbolism. And when I saw him look down and open his hands, I about cried, because he picked up the pin and kept holding it in his hands. I think he recloses his hands again, but God, this moment just meant so much in the fact that this is the second thing I called. Yeah, they were little details, but the symbolism meant so much. Mm-hmm. And it's
and then we see that Robin is also arrested, which we don't know why. She wasn't on the wanted list, unless they just arrest her because she was on the scene, even though she was out cold when it freaking happened. But it's obvious that they arrested Crow not only because he's wanted, but for the murder of Clover. And people are turning, I swear, people are turning this into a shipping thing already.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm only going to say a few things on that. No, this is called you comfort somebody. And I saw someone go into detail, and I agree with everything that was said. She's comforting him. Look what happened. She knew that they were growing close and working together. Hell, the three of them were fighting Tyrion. I mean, they worked together, and she saw, how things were going. Yeah. So,
not every male and female interaction is romantic, guys.
Yes,
grow up out of that, seriously.
I did have a friend make a joke about, they're a couple of jailbirds because of their...
Well, yeah.
So, which... That one, Josh, that was yours.
I'm still going to hold on to the headcanon that Robin isn't straight because of the whole League of Lesbians thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't think she is either. But the thing is she's...
Until it's stated in the show. If it's stated in the show she's not, it's fine.
She's comforting him. Yeah. Look what just happened. Yeah. She was out, and she couldn't do anything about it either.
The guy who pretty much became his best friend died. And he's being blamed for it. So, come on, people. You expected Robin just to sit there and not have anything to do with him?
She has a heart.
Yeah. Robin's a badass, but she's not a heartless badass.
No. And then them flying back, and then you start seeing...
Yeah, you see these storm clouds start to move in. But I love this because someone took the shot of Atlas from from chapter 1, and then this one from chapter 2. Big contrast, oh my gosh, the dark times are coming, but it's so well delivered. I loved it. I just love this shot.
I caught what he...
Yeah, but fear itself isn't worthy of concern. It is who we become while in its clutches. That is it gave me goosebumps and just gave me goosebumps now, because that's pretty much showing what Ironwood has allowed his fear to turn him into.
Yeah.
Now, we still do not know what they're going to do with Ironwood. Is he going to be redeemed, or is he going to end up dead like Lionheart? We do not know. It's too early to make a prediction on that. We're going to have to wait and see what they say, maybe leading up to Volume 8.
I just hope Winter starts coming to her senses.
I do too.
Something, actually...
Yeah.
Something
I
Weiss
could not
says.
believe this. I could not believe, after all that's going on, her sister standing right there. And I suggest you all surrender. Like, she is really going...
She's not putting force behind it, though, either. But she's still following her orders.
Yeah.
But she's just not... She's not forcing
Weiss
it.
says, we can't do that. Then I suggest... So, the look on her face right here suggests that she really doesn't want to do this. No. This is why I think at some point
she's turning.
Winter at some point will question, especially when she starts to see what Ironwood is becoming.
Especially since her talk with Weiss after their training match together, she has been starting to question things, and this is where the looks are starting to get. And then Weiss is more worried about her. Like,
well, yeah, it's her sister.
I'm not going to leave you like this, and she says, "You're not leaving me."
Yeah.
I think I got the next part. She says, "I'm giving you a head start."
It's just like, really, Winter, and she calls in that she needs medical assistance, and I felt awful.
Back up, pretty much.
Yeah, I felt awful for Weiss here because for the longest time, Winter was the only family member of her actual family that she had that was supportive and caring, and here her sister is pretty much becoming her enemy in a way. And it kind of goes back to Chapter 4 where she stated Team RWBY was her family. So it's heartbreaking,
It
really.
is, but another thing also, the fact that she's just so casual, not rushing. Now, if you were to go back to the beginning, Winter, she would have been like, "No, you're waiting here, you're all under arrest."
Yeah.
She would have done that regardless if she was injured, and she just takes her time. Like, she says, "Okay, well, run."
Yeah. So in a way, she's staying faithful to Ironwood, but
she's telling her to run.
Yeah. She's like, in a way, you could see it, like, yeah.
It's her slow turning point.
Well, yeah. Like, as we talked about, it kind of made me realize that, yeah, she's staying true to Ironwood, but in a way, it's pretty much her way of saying, "Get out of here now while you still can, because
yes.
I can't do anything to
protect you."
Yeah.
So, and then this mirrors back to their talk as well when Winter is starting to question her everything.
Yeah.
She says, "We have to carve our own way out." Something similar was said in that conversation, and she's mirroring it back.
Yeah. So yeah,
and Winter sees this.
That is one prediction I will make for Volume 8 or 9, that eventually Winter will see the monster that Ironwood is becoming. Now, whether he is saved from that, who knows? They might go that route. But if not, if they go that route with Ironwood and he's like turning into a monster himself, hopefully she will realize that and get away from him. So Yang, like, everyone shows up to get them, and Yang kind of sees what's going on, and it's kind of like like, oh my God, what happened? And and they say they need to go, and this is what I love. Will you be proud of that person? Pretty much, will you be proud of that person you became because you let your fear run you? Now, through this whole volume, we had kind of seen that Penny and Winter had developed some sort of camaraderie together, but I love that Penny gets up
and runs to the ship
and leaves with RWBY and the others. And Winter does kind of look kind of heartbroken by that. So, okay, I want to say something about this scene. So, yes, Penny and Pietro leave with the others. The only one, sadly, they're missing is Crow.
He'll find his way.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Robin's going to be an ally of theirs as well, and the Happy Huntresses. But anyway, here's the thing. The contrast between the two couples. You've got Ren and Nora not looking at each other. Ren has kind of almost, got his back to her. She's not looking at him. You've got Blake and Yang, though, still looking at each other. And Blake even, I don't think it's in this exact scene, but she kind of gives a comforting look to Yang. So, yeah, even though Renora got the kiss this volume, they've kind of started drifting apart a little bit. Bumblebee didn't get a kiss, but they're still getting closer.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing also I brought up with the communication. Blake and Yang's communication, it's always been good. It's gotten stronger since Blake came back.
To where they can just look at each other and
yes,
not
it
say
has
a
gotten
word.
stronger, and it's showing that, yes, they were, Renora's close, but they don't have the communication that
pretty
they
much.
need.
Renora right now is showing what their lack of communication is doing to them, where Bumblebee is showing how great their communication is, that they can just look at each other, and that's keeping their relationship together.
For the fact they were still doing missions and doing their job, but they still, they communicated, they talked,
And interesting enough, Ozpin asks, will you forgive them? That makes you wonder if Ironwood does see the error of his ways, will everyone forgive him for what he's done? Yeah. And what he may eventually do in Volume 8, we don't know. Now, this was cute.
I thought it was adorable.
I love this so much because Penny has always been one of my favorite characters in RWBY, and seeing what she had to go through earlier in this volume, all of Mantle turning against her, them wanting her deactivated, and after what she just went through, and RWBY and Weiss giving her this kind of support, it's probably one of my favorite moments.
Friends and family. It's what she needed, because she was always this, it cements again the real girl thing. Yeah. It really does. But Ruby's always looked at her that way.
Yeah, and it's
the others have too.
I know, but this is we've never seen Weiss be this. Weiss, this comforting,
yes, but I mean,
Penny,
the others have all started coming around, and they just look at her like that.
And of course, people are now shipping it. I think they call it Red Refrigerator or something like that.
There's a couple different names, because it was
I know it's
Nuts and Dolts and Bolts or something like that. Some of the names were kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie.
I think the reason why people called it Red Refrigerator is because red, of course, for RWBY. Refrigerator because, for one, Penny's a robot and Weiss is cold.
Yeah. So.
But then again, sadly, I've seen people fight over this. I've seen people Photoshop Penny out and make it a White Rose moment. I've seen people Photoshop Weiss out, and it's once again caused White Rose shippers and Nuts and Dolts shippers to fight.
Cute moment, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody created a new ship between the three of them.
That's fine. That is totally fine.
That's
but don't use it to fight and attack each other,
I've
please.
even seen people say, the White Rose and the robot daughter, and the way they described
and
it,
that's
it was
fine.
Absolutely adorable. Okay.
Yeah.
So just let everybody ship what they want. Don't turn around and attack somebody. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we can say that. And I know it's going to happen either way. I'm sure we'll get a couple dislikes for that, but just come on, guys.
It's a cartoon at the end of the day.
I think this is adorable, and I think
it is. It's an amazing
combination
moment.
Ship between the three of them, or the robot daughter thing. Okay, that's all absolutely adorable. Again, we still do ship White Rose. Don't. We've said it several times.
I'm just not convinced it's ever going to become canon unless
Regardless,
they start
we ship it anyway.
Up. But
anyways.
like I've also said, guys, there's a reason why us Bumblebee shippers get excited over every interaction between Blake and Yang, because it's backed up in the show. As long as the show builds it up, you can get excited over anything. But yes, I love what this can do for the future, because RWBY and Penny have always been close, but this could also create a closer friendship between Weiss and Penny.
Yeah. And then I had to get this moment because
he
just looked at her and them and just smiled, because this is what he wanted for her. He knows what she is, but her having close friends, having her friendships back that she thought she probably lost, he's proud. And
Ozpin also says, will you understand why they felt the need? And really, yes, I do understand Ironwood to a point, but he's went too far.
Yes.
Now, here's another little interesting thing. Cinder has failed, but Neo did not. So in a way, it is a small W for Cinder, but she still didn't get what she really wants. I really don't think she cares that much about the relic at this point, because she failed to get the power of the Winter Maiden. Now, here's the thing, though. Neither Neo or Cinder know how the lamp works, I don't think. They don't know Jin's name.
No.
So there may not be any threat right now in them having the lamp. Now, if it gets in Salem's hands, that's different. But here's the thing, though. Cinder walks up and just nabs.
Just snags
the relic away and just walks away. Now, a lot of people have said, maybe Roman
praised
her every time she got the job done. Now, at first, she looks sad, which, like I said, Neo is a villain, yes, but God, you can't not love her. But then
she's so done with her shit.
Yeah. I think this further pushes the point that at some point Neo is going to turn.
And I've been calling that for
now. Will she join the good guys? I don't know. That's still too very far to say.
Could be an anti-hero like Harley.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, this is kind of cementing that at some point Neo is not going to put up with this anymore.
No, she's completely over the shit. Like, I was able to get a good shot of this.
I did not catch the "it's gone" in the reaction, but is she talking about the maiden powers? I highly doubt it's the lamp, because there's no way of them to know that Neo
she doesn't know.
So I think she's talking about the maiden powers. And Osmond says, will you even recognize them, or will the person staring back at you be the very thing you should have feared from the start? This is the thing, though. They said the theme of this volume was trust and all that, and how Team RWBY would trust who they shouldn't, who that you wouldn't think they could, and they shouldn't have trusted who they did, or something like that. It was worded differently, but this is pretty much saying Ironwood is who they should have feared from the start, because his fear and paranoia has driven him to almost madness, and it
also reflects.
And he even screams here like a madman, because the Winter Maiden's power is no longer in his control.
Now the thing
neither is Penny.
Well, the thing is it never said anything. We don't know if he knows that Penny has it. She just said it's gone. Yeah. So she could have passed before she, for all he knows, that we know of, that the Winter Maiden passed and the power's gone. So
I don't know about that.
It doesn't state who got it, so he doesn't. I don't think he knows who got the power.
I know, but I'm just saying, just simply saying it's gone. I think
that leaves it to we don't know.
Well, I know, but he knows that means that she didn't get the maiden powers.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. We don't know where.
Well, either way, he's lost both the control over the maiden powers and Penny.
Well, here's the other thing also. The whole thing with the fear, and the trust. Yeah, Team RWBY and them, they realize, they shouldn't have trusted him. But here's the other thing.
They were right to lie to him in the end.
Yes, and he should have, instead of his paranoia and everything leading him that way, he should have trusted what they were saying. Every time somebody tried to say something to him, he wasn't trusting. So that's another big thing.
And then we get the answer to something else. Watts is
bastard
alive.
is still alive.
Which
somebody pointed out the jail cell.
Yeah, it's very
I
nice.
want a jail cell with a view like that.
Yeah, which was very stupid, because he is way too dangerous to keep alive.
I was like, do you want a jail cell with a view? I think that's what it was.
But also, his rings were destroyed, so maybe as of right now, he's not as big a danger.
Yeah, because you can kind of see his hands. His rings aren't there, so he's powerless right now. So.
But then it darkens, you hear the thunder,
smirks.
and he smirks because he knows what's coming. And
regardless if he's... Thing is because Salem even stated, it's not about them succeeding, so he doesn't care. He knows he did his job, and he knows what's happening, so...
So once again, this was a cool moment, and it just, boom, this big old shockwave, it was so cool. And, that power, these memories, you're back, aren't you? So this pretty much states that probably he can now use Oz's magic.
He's grown. The thing is he needs to grow
Oscar,
himself.
Maybe Oscar is not going to get a semblance because he can access the magic that Oz can still use. Which is interesting.
And he said, and he goes, "You saved me." He goes, "Actually,
you saved
us." Yeah. So I had pointed out, when Ironwood shot him, yeah, his aura shattered. Mm-hmm. But Was it his or was it Oz's?
I don't know.
Because you couldn't tell. The color was too far away to tell if it was his or Oz's aura.
So, it wasn't as green, so it might have been his. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but the thing is now he's gotten so strong that he's able to, at will, and he's using it. He's focusing. So that training's done him a lot of good.
And Oz tries to say something, but he tells him to stop, and he just all he wants to know is how they save Atlas, which is good. Now I love this scene. That, like, the beginning of the volume, chapter 1, Atlas was, it was at nighttime. It was beautiful. It had this beautiful nightscape. Now at the end of the volume, we've got these really dark clouds. There's thunder. There's lightning. It's very, like, it's pretty much that narrative that the heroes have to go through their darkest hour before they win. A great example, the original Star Wars trilogy. Empire Strikes Back, my favorite Star Wars movie. It's one of the more darker Star Wars films. At the end of that movie, the heroes didn't win, really. But then in Return of the Jedi, they get out of that darkness and they win in the end. So, yeah, we're about to enter into a really dark time in RWBY, I believe. So they're flying away. We don't know where exactly they're going. We don't know if they're going to Mantle or if they're just leaving altogether. I don't think it's ever stated where they're going.
Mm-mm.
So we're not going to find that out till Volume 8. But then they start hearing from Atlas multiple multiple.
I think I caught that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got multiple hostiles on radar. And
I caught a look. That's why I got that screen.
Oh yeah, because they do look at each other again.
Yeah.
And
that's how I caught that. But
there's an echo sound that says that this can't be. This has got to be a mistake.
This got to be wrong. Like this can't. These readings can't be right.
Yeah, and you see these really dark, ominous clouds getting close to
red
Mantle, and
flashes of lightning.
Yeah, that's getting very close to Atlas and Mantle, and then.
Do we have a name yet?
Yes, we do. Richard. Xiaolong and Cinny said that is the law, that his name is Richard. So we have possibly the biggest Grimm we have ever seen in RWBY, and it is a whale. The moment I saw it was a whale, I was like, it's Monstro.
That, and remember in Pinocchio, the fish and everything.
Yeah.
Birds.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I noticed that when I was getting the screenshots.
Someone made a so I was like, oh great, so Penny and Pietro's gonna get swallowed by this Grimm. And someone on Twitter made the point that not only was Pinocchio and Geppetto swallowed by the whale, their cat and goldfish was as well. And the only one right now that fits a goldfish is Yang. So I'm like, great. So Penny, Pietro, and for some reason Blake and Yang are going to get swallowed by this Grimm together. I don't know how that's going to happen. I doubt it will. But it is very interesting that we have the character who was based off Pinocchio becomes the Winter Maiden, and the big Grimm that comes in is a whale.
And Pinocchio's the reason they got out.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what is, like, they're all in an airship. They could all get swallowed by this thing for all we know, and we have a whole volume that takes place inside of a Grimm. That'd be funny.
At least part of one. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, maybe for an episode, but this thing is massive, and riding on top of it is the big bad herself, Salem, in a whole new outfit. She really loves her booby windows. Someone even joked that, what is up with RWBY and hot villains? Because
hot villains and hot moms.
Yeah. Was this? Oh, did you
There's one. I think there's one more.
Okay.
There is one more slide, and it's not.
It's the end credits. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So that's how the volume ends. Is Salem arriving now? How is Volume 8 going to go? Like, is it going to be just one big battle? Like, there's no way that the heroes can hide in Mantle with Salem actually there. So I don't know. I don't know where. Like, it was never stated where Team RWBY and them were going, where they were running to. They're obviously not going to Mantle because they were flying out.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're going. They may go somewhere else to regroup and then try and sneak back into Mantle and all that. Who knows? But yes, the end credits played. We got a new song, I believe it was called Fear. We did find out that the main opening is in fact called Trust Love, so I'm happy about that. It's probably like when I first heard it, I didn't know much thing about it.
Oh, I fell in love with it.
I still think I like Rising a little bit more because I just love the guitar riff in it and all that. But Trust Love is definitely now one of my top favorite openings. We did not get an after credit scene. Carrie did state on Twitter that they chose not to, just to focus on the volume itself. And
but we got something else instead.
Yes, we got something else instead. If anyone watching this does not know, Monty did pass on February 1st, 2015, and it was the 5th year anniversary of that. It was really kind of scary that the finale did drop on that day. So it was very emotional day for the RWBY fandom.
Many people, a lot of the Rooster Teeth voice actresses,
saying,
even people not in Rooster Teeth, they all posted yesterday or the other day, and
that, we still love you, Monty, and all that, and it's weird. 2015 was not a good year. Well, the beginning of 2015 was not a good year because I do remember when this happened.
I do too, and I think I was at OhioCon that year.
You were at a con on that? I just remember reading about it.
I think it was my first OhioCon, and
how I found out about it was on Facebook, because a lot of people were posting it. And of course, you had the people who the first thing they jumped to was, "Oh, is RWBY going to get canceled?"
I heard that too, and I think OhioCon was my first convention, and it was later in the year at that point in time, and that's actually when this happened. And I remember seeing the post on Facebook, but also the cosplayers and stuff that were there. That's another reason,
I'm sure they were all upset.
Yes, and a lot of them chose to honor him. And there was someone carrying around a sign, I remember, that said, "We love you, Monty."
Yeah.
And so it was very rough.
And, almost a month later, on March 5th, 2015, I lost my dad to cancer. So it was not a good beginning of the year. But then again, you and me finally met face to face shortly after that. So 2015 was a very awful year starting, but ended on a high note. So yeah, losing Monty in February, then losing my dad in March, it was an awful time, which is why it breaks my heart still seeing people using Monty as a way to attack Miles, Carrie, and the rest of RWBY. And then you have the pure scum of the fandom, like painting Monty out to be this homophobic guy who would not be happy with LGBT characters in his show. It's sickening. It's disgusting.
This points back to that video again.
Yeah, it's to the point where a lot of those people just,
I kind of just scroll on.
I would lower myself for the opportunity to insult them publicly to their face, but it's just, you don't use something like that as a way to attack people who personally knew the guy when you knew jack shit. Because if you met him at a convention, it still doesn't mean you knew them. Okay, I've met plenty of voice actors and all that at conventions. Do I claim I know them? No, I do not. It's not something a sane person does. So to all you people out here who still attack RWBY and still use Monty as an attack,
shame on you.
Yeah, go get a life. Like, seriously.
I can guarantee right now, even through this whole volume and the past years, especially as this one came to an end, he's up there playing DDR and just enjoying his creation, just coming even more to life. Better and better each time. So, thing is we've all known, and I've stated before, I know others have too. Okay, he's had details written for years, like in
There's
books.
only two people who know fully what Monty wanted, and it's Miles and Carrie.
And I'm pretty sure all his notebooks and stuff that he ever had, or files, are with him. And thing is even as a writer myself, I've got details for stories that I write. I have details for,
and I'm gonna
to the end of it, and it may not be full things. It may just be scribbles or notes here and there. We know that Monty did that, and they're going to take those things that he did, and they're bringing his vision to life. No one's gonna know him better.
And I respect Miles and Carrie that they got through the grief of losing their friend to continue this.
They're doing this, for him.
Yes, that's the reason why they continue
like,
it. If they had called it quits, I think, I don't know if they ever said it, but I think they felt that if they gave up, it would be doing Monty a disservice. And,
I think it was said.
Yeah, so, and I respect Miles and Carrie. They've done a great job. Is RWBY perfect? No, but a show being...
Come on, this started as a web show.
And
look at it now.
And no show is perfect. Everybody considers Dragon Ball Z one of the greatest animes ever. Does it have plot holes? Does it have inconsistencies? Does it have some crappy writing? Yes, but I do not.
That's in everything.
Yeah, I don't
Sailor
understand.
Moon, Pokemon, everything.
I don't understand these people who say, "Oh, RWBY's got flaws, so you shouldn't like it." What the fuck?
Okay, I've heard stuff the same thing going with, for example, Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was unsure of the art style, but then I went back and looked through the manga.
Well, judging an art style...
There's different. You can't judge on just art style. I was unsure, but I still watched it, and I love it. It goes so much close. Yes, there's some missing things. Yeah, you go back to the original, there's some huge holes there. There's filler that shouldn't be there, but it was funny. And there's still people that completely bitch about it. They're like, oh, this isn't right. This isn't following... No. You can't watch this because this isn't... If you're a true fan, don't watch that. You don't do that.
Does RWBY have flaws? Yes, it does. Is it perfect? No. But I do not watch anime and stuff like this and sit there just completely upset because one little detail contradicts something that happened years ago. I watch it because I enjoy it, okay? And it's to the point where if you're telling people not to enjoy something because you don't like it, well, who the hell gave you that right, So...
At the end of the day, you watch it because you love it. You love the show. You love the story. So, you just screw everybody else.
Yeah.
If someone tells you not to watch it, just smile. Okay, thanks. Keep watching.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you should never let anyone make you feel bad for enjoying something. If you are enjoying something that doesn't hurt anybody or anything like that, that's completely,
something that makes you happy.
Yeah, as long as it's not hurting anybody, no one should tell you what you can and cannot enjoy. If they do, you need to just boot them out of your life. That's why every time I make a Bumblebee post or something and some jack-off who I don't even know exists comes in there and insults me or insults something, I just block them and that's it. I don't remember their name, so it don't matter, And if you see somebody talking crap about you for something you've done because you've defended RWBY, because you ship this, you ship that, well, guess what? You're already a success because they know your name, but you don't know theirs. So, sorry about that, guys. It's just that I've seen some of the worst BS takes this volume, and it's just like, how did most of these people that are closer to our ages, or at least old enough to be out of high school, how the heck did they pass English class unless a teacher wanted to get rid of them and pass them with a D? So...
Which, that actually happened in my high school, so...
Because a lot of you do not know storytelling, and some of you so-called critics, you guys don't quit your day job. That's all
Even
I'll
as
say.
a writer, a writer as myself... I'm not perfect, but the thing is, you can't just turn around and say you absolutely know how someone writes something. Oh, well, the story's supposed to go this way. No, everything is different. Say me and somebody else are writing the exact same story. They're not going to be the same. You just can't turn around and criticize somebody on their writing style. Everybody's different.
Well, that was a little mini rant.
Sorry.
It needed to be said because it seems like every volume, this fan, I won't even call them real fans. I just think it's people who just come out of the woodwork to try and make something of themselves, and they end up failing because their takes are so awful and so off the plot that it's just like, are you even watching? Or are you just reading something off some Tumblr post? But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the last analysis of Volume 7.
Great volume.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Despite what happened in Volume 6 and Bumblebee, happening in Volume 6 and all that, Volume 7 is my favorite volume so far. I never, like, Volume 6 was such a high point, and not just because of what they did with Bumblebee in it, but, like...
As a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, it was a great volume. It was a great in-between volume.
Yes.
And, you know, I think for the longest time before Volume 6, Volume 3 was my favorite, because of all the tension that was building up.
Yeah.
This volume built that tension up tenfold. Like, every episode, they would put us in a good state of mind, and at the end of it, they'd bring us back down. It was perfect with that. Was there some stuff that probably could have been delivered a little bit better? Maybe. But, all in all, in my opinion, best RWBY volume so far. Best use of storytelling to push the plot forward. As you said earlier, yes, were some characters pushed to the back, drop a little bit. Yes, Blake and Yang were pushed a little bit more back.
But it's okay.
But it's okay because they had their moment in Volume 6. Maybe they'll have a bigger thing in Volume 8 or 9. It might not be till 9. We don't know. But hope you guys survive the hiatus, because it's going to be a long one. I think this is the biggest cliffhanger they've left us off for the actual real hiatus. So, yeah.
Thank you, RWBY.
Yes, thank you, RWBY.
Thank you, RWBY, for another absolutely amazing volume. Like,
Casey
I cannot wait.
Casey and Jeff, the music was amazing, as always.
Cannot wait to finally buy the soundtrack.
Yeah. Miles, Carrie, you guys are amazing, as always.
Oh, and everyone else that joined in on the soundtrack, too.
Yes.
I can't remember all the names, but thank you.
All the extra vocalists and all that. You guys were amazing. Eddie, Kirsty, I think that's how you pronounce her name, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. You guys are an amazing addition to the writing team. You guys hit it out of the park. I cannot wait to see what story you've got for us in Volume 8. Once again, thanks to all of RWBY, all the animators, everyone. You guys did amazing this volume. And of course, as always, thank you, Monty, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this. So rest in peace, Monty, and thank you. We will never forget you, and we love you as always. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, despite the little rant. But like I said, this fandom will do it to you sometimes, where you do guys snap a little bit. If you did enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of our uploads. I am going to try my best to keep putting a Let's Play up every single day. Check our link in the description for our Twitter accounts if you want to follow us both on Twitter. Our Patreon is there if you want to support us on there. Our Etsy and Square store is there. She does commissions for conventions or just anything you want. Contact her. Our Facebook is there. Our email is there. If you want to email us about
anything,
partnerships, something you want us to react to, because we are going to do reactions to just random stuff. I want to react to some scary videos.
Unboxing. I mean, we have so much stuff planned.
We may do Try Not to Laugh. I do want to do Try Not to Laugh challenges.
I don't think I'll survive that, but I laugh a lot.
But yeah, unboxings. I'm going to continue my Let's Play video. She's going to do more cosplay stuff. Okay, we're rambling at this point. Subscribe button, notification bell, hit that like button, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.